Well, I certainly planned to winter sow some seeds this year, but then I neglected to get all my supplies out. When all our heavy winter sows in January came in Ohio, I had 12 inches of snow here, and once it was plowed, it was stacked up 5 feet deep around the garden shed and the end of the driveway, and I couldn't get into the barn to get out my containers. So when it's finally melted, in Ohio you can go from 10 degrees one day and you're 50 degrees the next day. I got a warm day, the snow melted down, and it was far enough that I could go get my containers. So I went and got them. I brought them back into the garage. I took a look around that garden shed, and it really looks like it needs some work. I need to clean things out, rearrange everything, get things back in order. It's a mess, but I'll get to that when it's a little more steadily warmer, and maybe I'll film it. I guess it depends on what tragedy it looks like. But meanwhile, I've got my containers and I've got them out. This snow that was left on the ground with a day or two of this 40 and 50 degrees, it was all melted. Of course, the next thing it does is start to rain, and we've got flooding problems. But that's Ohio. So anyway, I get everything all organized, stacked up, and ready. You can see those big high snow drifts and everything. And I tried to decide how many and how much seed I wanted to plant. I don't want to do too much because I've already really got enough plants. Just want to accentuate a few here and there. I did save some seed, and I went to Sam's Club where they do the curbside pickup, and that way I had them load the 3 big bags of potting soil. So I'm well stocked and ready. I had grown some of those, the rutabaga, and they didn't bloom the first year. I was so disappointed.
Look at that cosmos.
Oh yeah, isn't that pretty? I like that.
I do too.
Should we try some of that? I mean, if you see anything you want to try, I'm willing to try. Nasturtiums.
There's
Blanket flower. I'm gonna try some of this lavender. I'm gonna get one of it.
I think you should for sure the lavender.
Okay. And this is vegetables. And I'm not into vegetables. I just raise them to kill them, so. Any flowers there?
More columbine over here. And Canterbury bells.
Oh, I bet those are pretty.
Purple cornflowers. There's larkspur.
And what did I have? I had Angelonia, and I really liked it. Oh, I would like to do foxglove again.
Yeah. Oh, look, here's some alyssum, but it's purple.
Oh, I like that. Let me try some of that.
Yeah. And then this one's just the white carpet of snow. Leather.
Oh, there's that flies bleeding amaranthus.
Yeah.
We had other names for that kind of long dangly plant.
We sure did. Mom, I remember when you did morning glories.
Oh, I used to do those all the time. I remember growing them up strings.
Yeah,
on
strings,
the fence
yeah.
and growing it up strings.
What's this
Like
one?
the rutabaga, snapback.
Oh, verbena.
Verbena, that one's pretty. I don't know what to try. I grew a teddy bear sunflower once and I loved it. I gotta cut in here that sound background music. is getting so loud in here at Walmart. It's echoing like crazy, and I know I'll get a copyright strike. So I'll just cut out our chatter here so that I won't get a copyright strike. I do like all the seeds that we ended up with, so we're going to take those home with us. The seeds that I purchased. I got the Albrecia, I think that's called, some alyssum, and then this is the lavender. They just had two varieties. I wasn't sure which lavender to choose, but these are the ones I'm going to go with. I'm really into lavender this year. I want the pretty lavender that looks like the one I have outside. Don't remember which kind that is. So I may have to get another lavender when the plants come out. Finally remembered where I put them. This is some balloon flower seeds. Have them down in here. I have to separate them out. They look like pepper, so that's going to be some kind of difficulty, but I'm going to get those planted. I've got a lot of bloom flowers already, but that's not stopped me before. Now the other seed I have is here. This is bee balm. I never did write on it, but there is the tiniest bit of seed down in there, and I harvested this from my own plants. So I want to start some of that. And hopefully I'll have those seeds to grow nicely. So we'll just get ready and get some in. Okay, I've got everything set up out here. Got my soil ready, got my old pots ready. They've already got their holes in them. Point it toward the light. You can see that. And the lids have the holes, so we're all ready. So I'll start with my first, or I should say the final remainder of the soil, and just fill it up, and we will do what we can do, because I don't want to plant too much. I don't want to be overwhelmed with seedlings. So let me get some of these pots filled up. Now I'm just going to fill up these buckets, these containers here. I usually try to get it about, say, 4 or 5 inches, maybe it's even 6 inches deep. Just about, you know, one of those regular nursery pots that you get, how deep they are with roots and everything. So I think this is about adequate, depending on the amount of plants that you allow to reach maturity in here. But that's how I'm doing with my containers. So you do you. Okay, it didn't use as much soil as I thought it would. I'm only going to do 7 containers. There they are. Here's my lids. So now I'm going to dampen the soil a little bit, and we'll get the seeds planted. Okay, I've got all the containers, all 6 of them, ready here at the top to moisten. I've got the little square one, but as sure as I set it on this end handle, I'll knock it off. So I'll just wait till I get these 6 done. Now I'm going to start with my bee balm. And there is a fair amount of seed in there with a little bit of the chaff. But I think I'd rather just go ahead and sow in this one thing, the one container, and then I'll just thin them. The least likely to survive, I'll just thin them out. So there goes. And I don't have a label or anything for bee balm. I'm going to assume that they barely want to be covered. And so I'm just going to take a tiny bit of the soil and sprinkle it over the top. And then I will put the name tags in them as we go. Okay, there we go. Now, got this one done, and it is the bee balm in here. And I know the kind of bee balm, but I didn't write it down when I took those seeds. It's the one up against my house. So I will write that on there if possible. So here is one. Okay. I'm going to put in some alyssum, I think. And I don't know how much alyssum is in here. And I do have the package this time for some. Barely press in. Okay, so at least I'll know that about these. And I got the purple because I think it's the prettiest. Oh my, there are 10,000 seeds in here. So there's no way that I'm going to do them all. In fact, I think I will sprinkle just a few of these into some of my pots to see if I can get some alyssum started. So there we go. Press in. Okay, and I have a sign for alyssum. There we go. And here is the lid for it. It is so warm outside today. It's supposed to get in the higher 50s, possibly even 60. So it is ridiculous that I am this late, but I didn't have my little containers out and I couldn't get to them when they were buried in the snow. So that's what you get for putting it off and not going after it. Okay, now I'm not real sure how to pronounce this. Obrietta, rockcress. I've had it before, and I don't know if I would get blooms this year or next, but we're gonna try. Sow in spring or in late summer, 12 weeks before the ground freezes, evenly and thinly, and cover with fine soil. Okay. Oh, and there's just a tiny little amount in there. Well, not tiny, but let's say there's 50 seeds. That's the whole total amount. And this should be good to put in my hypertufa pots, because it grows similar to phlox or something like that, the creeping phlox, and it just kind of tumbles over the wall and things. So, and it is a perennial that'll come back every year, but I don't really have any idea if it'll be ready to bloom this year or I'll have to wait another year. Sorry, noisy airplane. Oh, I forgot to put a little bit of the covering of soil there. I'm going to bring out my watering canister in a little bit. Once I get everything labeled and fixed, then I'll feel safe in taking the lids off to spray. There we go. Now, I again, the lid. Okay. The next one is going to be lavender. And start seeds, sow in open ground, will expose, thin plants feuds tall. It does not say days to germinate, depth 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so we'll put a little tiny bit of soil over the top of these. There's a lot in there, quite a bit. But for the ones that won't germinate, and then I will thin. All right. There, that should be enough. And let's put lavender. Oops. Lavender. Maybe I should write Munstead. Maybe I'll go back and write Munstead. I don't know what all these different types are, but I'm going to have to learn. And then, okay, I got my balloon flower. And this, it's just like pepper. So, I don't know how much is still up in the thing. The little dried seed hull releases all the little black dots. So, there is a lot down in here. Oops. I don't know. A bunch. You can see those? Look at all that. That's probably several hundred. Am I getting that in the camera? So it's way too much for one. I think I will plant it in both of these. These come up like tiny, tiny little asparagus tips in their second year. In the first year, they just look like, two tiny little leaves right at first. But these are so tiny. If you have balloon flowers, they just drop to the ground and then you have hundreds growing. But they're not invasive or anything. They just look pretty and you can move them. And this, if I'm remembering correctly, the one that I picked was the tall variety. Okay, there's balloon flower and balloon flower. I'm just barely going to put a little of this here because I think these will probably be ones that don't need to be covered. Okay, and I'm going to have to write one more label for him. So I get one more label for him, and then I have another box that I can plant one other thing. Let me do one more look through to see if I have any other seeds. Balloon flower, and then I brought out the watering pod. But I'm gonna go check for those other seeds in the barn. Okay, I did find my zinnia seeds. I wanted to have these to cut and bring flowers in. There's a lot of seed. Oh well, we'll just cut and thin as we go. Oh, that's it. I guess that's not too bad. And this says 1/4 inch of fine soil to cover. So let's do that. going to be a lot for this one. But again, we will just thin them out, the ones that don't look too good. I don't really have this close to the camera, so hopefully you can see this. Now my zinnias will be in the only one that's square. Some ice cream that I bought was in a square dish. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that next time because I like the square dish. Just dampening the top after I put that in there. Looks pretty good. Same for both of these. I do need to get a little name label for the zinnias, just in case. I'll try and remember they're in the square pot, but just in case. By the time I get back in there, knowing me, I may have forgotten. Okay, now these set out because these are going to be my winter sow method. And so I want to set them right out in the temperatures as they are. So it being such a nice warmish day, the seeds are probably going to say, wait a minute, aren't we supposed to be winter sow? Isn't there supposed to be a lot of snow? Well, if I don't get you out there, then it doesn't work that way. So let me get these, well, I've got to get the others watered first. Bring you back up here, people. I like the ice cream buckets because they have handles. They do have the writing on it that you can't remove, but that hasn't seemed to be detrimental to my seed sprouting. That looks good. Lavender and the buckcress. Put that over there. These last two need to be watered. Oops, I pulled my handle out. I love the handle, so let me put it back in its little spot. I like to have the handle. Okay, with this slightly moistened soil, and now just this slight extra, that should make the pots do really well for a start off. Now, where am I going to put these? I guess that's the next trick. Here we go. Now, I would say to put it in the snowbank, but let's not put it in the snowbank. How about I put it right out here so I can really keep an eye on it. That should be good. Get the others. Got all 4. Doing good. Okay. Put these right out here along with the others. And there we go. There we go. Now they're protected. They got their lids. And they're winter sown. Looks perfect. Oh, wish me luck. Let's hope I get some kind of results from this.